1NC is not a reason not to endorse the 1EC, and it is not a reason to vote negative. Voting affirmative in no way precludes affirming the 1NC or even affirming that the 1NC is more important than the 1EC. Our argument is simply that the plan is a good thing, and that is a reason to vote affirmative. We aren't Stalin, obviously. That is a bad thing, and the 1NC talks about something that is important. But that doesn't mean the plan text isn't also. Omission is not exclusion. No discursive act can include everything. This doesn't mean we reject or marginalize these concerns. 42. Any text will presuppose the existence of peoples, things, and institutions that are probably mentioned. Expulsion seems too pejorative term for the fact that no text can answer all possible questions about its own background and its own presuppositions. The talk is about expelling Captain Bird from her narrative by zeroing in on Ronnie. Now, if we win that the plan is a good idea, that means we should win the debate. The 1EC created a framework for the 1EC set up a framework for the debate. That is a prerequisite to a discussion. Voting negative, which is wait 9 minutes, which makes it impossible to debate because we cannot start the debate in the 2EC of a framework there. Choosing our argument isn't to exclude the 1EC. It is simply that the 1EC is also important. Modest predictability is worth potential substantive trade-off. The 1EC as a starting point creates space for discussion. That's why 89. FPA proponents tend to approach rule of law model as a villain. Our actual decisional rules rarely mandate a particular unempathetic response. Most of our rules are fairly open-ended. Relevance, undue hardship, precedent, constraining sense of rule of law model. Most rules are guidelines that still establish spheres of relevant conversation, not mathematical formulas. Our rules often are fluid standards that offer substantial room for varying interpretation. We value some procedural regularity because it lends stasis and structure even within our most intimate relationships. We establish rules and expect the other party to follow them. Breach of these agreements can destroy the relationship and hurt us deeply regardless of the wisdom or substantive fairness of a particular rule. Our agreements create expectations and their consistent application fulfills expectations. One's predictability that this sort of formalism provides may encourage human relationships. And fiat is a tool, not a trap. Even if we have no chance to cause changes to the legal reforms which we should build momentum and support for these ideas. Shelby Walker 7. We recognize the value and necessity of an illusion of agency, the expectation of difference made in the face of evidence and contrary. Illusions are counterproductive because they motivate action, situate by the system, they seek to influence current actions are part of the dynamics of change. They consider from the outside they are necessary to process within. This is true of academic life. Analyzing transition and remove illusion we've already at all. We need such fiction to keep us going. And policy focus is useful to actualize political change. Final 98. Scholarship fails to figure out how this academic community and practical significance not of many historical examples or few problems we could touch directly upon the circumstances of country institutionalized academic malpractice. Academicians take positions on which is language that is quite disconnected from practical politics. There's kind of virtual politics. This seldom reaches the political world. Dominant theme of literary criticism that they are a form of political action. The trickle-down hypothesis that the university can play through education a major role in shaping the public consciousness, remaining largely at the level of professional for claims about such issues which may largely matters of faith, rhetoric, and metapractical fantasy. Philosophers and basic decision make out writing claims of these somehow and have a voice in matters they discuss, but such metapractical discourse is quite different from talking to it in politics. There seems to be the assumption that political theory is simply conscientious civic conversation on a deadline. The greatest ethical lapse is not the failure to speak to certain events, but the refusal to come to terms with the actual situation. There's a persistent assumption that academicians, by practicing academic virtuosity, are somehow contained in politics, state, and public consciousness is ever present. And debate jargon is useful. Mirror 93. Even specialized jargon requires to play the game successfully as benefits from analyzing and understanding society's problems. Consider the disadvantage. There's a link and some impact or impact. The link can push us over some threshold, or it can be a linear relationship which increase causes an increase in impact. The impact must be unique. The affirmative may argue a turn to the disadvantage, claiming it as an advantage. Such specialized jargon makes every debate talk from other discourse, but the ideas represented here are significant and useful for analyzing the relative desirability of public policies. We really are threshold for issues and evaluating public policy. Ability with these concepts is essential mean of connecting research with the evaluation of options confronting citizens and decision makers in political context. And imagining governmental change helps expand what is politically possible. Democratic society requires guidelines for political 11. Political manifestos are practical instruments, not the architecture vision, but precisely the tool that can translate such vision. People with valuable control of political theory can be valuable by the failing social management reaching to a cascade of action set up by theoretical obfuscation. And giving up on connecting to conventional democratic institutions creates a higher level of co-option and complacency. Low L7. Transformative politics rejects a shared theory of social reforms, move away from grand narratives. Self-defeating the opposition is not playing that game of book, and conservative advocacy is particularly salient juxtapositions with science traditional progressive advocacy. New actual legal frames generate very limited improvement in existing social arrangements. Co-option affect the celebration of multiple micro-resistances is relying on idea the multiplication of practice will evolve into something substantial. Marginalized groups want to see systemic losses as a product of their own actions, thereby begin to focus on minor achievements as representing the boundaries of their world. Reality, the emphasis is local, but the locality is described as a microcosm of the whole. The audience is national and global. New social movements seem have, for the most part, failed to sustain coalitions or producing significant institutional change. The focus on small-scale dynamics of the innovation, the need to engage in broader substantive debate. We should question the narrative that imagines consciousness raising as directly translating into action, action as directly translating into change. When groups are situating in opposition to institutionalized power, they may be producing new activists in that self for what seems possibly original vision is consequently co-opted. And solidarity strategy should reform state institutions, rejecting of institutional change, undermines democratic life. Request 7. Examples of Spinoza's liberal law reforms may be evidence weakness left policy, special weakness left legalism, the equal treatment, the special treatment dilemma that confronts anti-racist law reforms, for example, saw a natural feature of equality law, but instead of problem particular political strategy, but seeing equality as a problem of individual radical prejudice against different problems of systemic subordination that produces institutionalized and rationalized from differences as immediately and reasonably inferior. Outside the U.S., where equality movements, legal scholars have more widely adopted a left-leaning analysis of structural subordination. Equality law has gone further to incorporate a disparate impact standard that can require the government to question and change its production and rationalization of differences. Impact-based equality law can require the government to respond to differences of race, gender, and disability. For instance, not as special needs, particular identity, but strong equal public benefits and legalism among. Alright, anti-legal non-conservative legal scholars may reflect more Socrates left policy, but left political cowardice or capitulation to right policies given a political context in which having taken left policy looks like you do more than challenging left policies. Less likely that non-conservative scholars would do more to advance right than left policies. For example, the issue of liberal laws of inadequacy, quoting racial justice, legalism in general, to particular legal rules, and particular political movements to pursue and attract white privilege. Finally, inaptly long-standing CLS and neoliberal arguably rights law, Trump political interests of legalism and national political interests, and some more independent authentic determined legal rights law. Critical analysis should understand those interests topics, but are gigantically shaped by a variety of social and political factors, including law from a critical perspective judging the social and political impact of those interests are either convoluted and individual and ideological, judging the impact of legal rights, market at impact of legal rights. And knowing how policymakers create policies is important in creating change. Top 99. Policymakers should be able to mobilize available knowledge to surprise citizens how policy processes really evolve. This demands precise knowledge of policy. She should be able to mediate differences, but she should be